Oh God, not sure the DNC and donor class are going to produce a Joe Rogan of the left because it would have to sound like this. Do you? But before I even listen to this, because I don't know what the hell he's saying. Where was that article? It really makes you wonder how much of this is sincerely intended and how much of it is just like a way for Democrats to give more money to their consultants. Countering GOP clout online. At private gatherings, strategists and donors are swapping ideas to help the party capture the digital mojo that helped Trump win. Yes, there's a price tag. They're never going to do it. I have never believed in the Democrats less than I do at this moment. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it. It's just going to be millions of dollars circling consultants, you know? Going to fund people like Sissel or whatever. 6 months after the DNC's crushing 2024 defeat, the party's mega donors are being inundated with overtures to spend tens of millions to develop an army of left-leaning online influencers, but not too left-leaning. At donor retreats and in pitch documents seen by the New York Times, liberal strategists are pushing the party's rich backers to reopen their wallets for a cavalcade of projects to help Democrats, as the cliche now goes, find the next Joe Rogan. Even this phrase, the fact that they're talking about it like this, is such a concession to the right, man. Like they can only ever be a pale imitation of what they're trying to create. Democrats widely believe they must grow more creative in stoking online enthusiasm for their candidates, particularly and less outwardly. Did anyone here see that recent article where a long-standing Democratic consultant was asking people how they feel about Republicans and Democrats by comparing them to animals? And Republicans are like tiger, lion, whatever else, and Democrats are like sloth, turtle. And even Democratic voters were saying that. Deer in the headlights. Many now take it as gospel that Mr. Trump's victory last year came in part because he cultivated an ecosystem of supporters on YouTube, TikTok, and podcasts, in addition to the many Trump-friendly hosts on Fox News. This is objectively true. Also, Trump didn't just cultivate an ecosystem in the sense of like, oh, they bought support or whatever. They did buy support, don't get me wrong, but they also created an internal culture that allows for a legion of dogmatic followers online who do their propaganda work for them. It's not just about like the Democrats could throw $1 billion at online left-leaning creators. It wouldn't change the fact that no one's out there getting hyped up for Schumer. Nobody. You could give an infinite amount of money to little Gen Z sociopath left-leaning TikTokers or whatever, and they're just not going to produce the same results. I'm sorry, the DNC needs more hype moments and aura. The quiet effort amounts to an audacious, skeptics might say desperate, bet that Democrats can buy more cultural relevance online, despite the fact that casually right-leaning touchstones like Mr. Rogan's podcast were not built by donors and did not rise overnight. Do you think it's advantageous for a political movement to be cult-like? What are the drawbacks? Yeah, it's probably advantageous. I don't think the Democrats need a cult, though. I mean, the problem at the end of the day is that, like, you couldn't make a cult for the Democrats because they stand for nothing and are worth nothing. They're useless. They're stupid pieces of shit. They're consultant brain dipshits who don't care about anything other than the, longevity of their own careers. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't believe in power. They don't believe in anything. Republicans believe in things. Evil things, but they believe in things. Democrats believe in nothing. And they internally sabotage whenever anything threatens the status quo. There's no way to have a cult around them. There's no way. You couldn't construct one if you wanted. The closest thing they have to a cult are Biden dead-enders. People who are weirdly antagonistic to the overwhelming body of evidence that Joe Biden was senile and incompetent, early in his presidential term, from the beginning, essentially, and that he never should have been the president, let alone run for a second term. And that's not the kind of cult that wins you elections. And so far, there are still more ideas than hard, committed money. One Democratic operative described compiling a spreadsheet of 26 active projects related to creators, over a dozen of which are new since November. Creators new since November, or the projects are new? But a few of the efforts have ties to major donors that could give them liftoff. It needs to start with a legitimate investment, said Marissa McBride, a Democratic strategist who leads a donor group called Mind the Gap. But she added, there has to be something that is happening organically as well. Shedding a hall monitor reputation. That's funny. This is all just going to go to consultants. This isn't going to lead to anything. The Democrats as they are right now are not capable of winning people's trust or votes. They cannot do it. Like, I'll just look it up right now. Mind the Gap. Is there any information online about their strategizing, how they operate, how Silicon Valley's secretive donor group plans to beat Trump? Oh sure, from Vox no less. Okay. Plans to spend 140 million in 2020. Well, they won then. Two fundamental things about this political movement: how fervently Silicon Valley millionaires and billionaires want to get rid of Donald Trump. Womp womp. Wow, that worked out in the long run, huh? How a new class of Democratic operatives and donors are disregarding concerns within their party about the role of money in politics and capitalizing on campaign finance law to influence elections with limited disclosure to the public. Fantastic. So this group, Mind the Gap, what are their achievements back from 2020? Well, here's what we know for sure. Silicon Valley billionaires definitely are tired of Trump and want to get rid of him. Also, the Democratic Party should lean more into massive campaign financing super PACs with limited transparency. Oh, no, please, find the next Joe Rogan. Please. They're so obsessed with Joe Rogan, man, because they don't understand the space. They're obsessed with Joe Rogan because they don't understand the environment they're trying to broach into. Right dominance on social media, Trump dominance, MAGA dominance, didn't come from like the surviving Koch brother, looking through his bifocals at his computer and going, that's what we need to make. They took advantage of a more or less organic ecosystem, and then they funneled an enormous amount of money into it and gave them a bunch of exposure and adjacency. Dude, Carolyn Levitt was having parallel White House press briefings to right-wing YouTubers. Dude, literally bringing them to Washington to pretend that they're reporters. Like, you can't. Why not start with bringing young people into the DNC? Because literally, they'd be too left-leaning. That's it. And that's why the Dems can't do anything. There is no base for enthusiastic support for the DNC anymore, right? There is no base for it because they cannot have anyone in here who is Bernie-like on socialism or critical of Israel. That's it. They can't do it. Mr. Birkenfeld seeking to raise $35 million in the first year for Project Bullhorn and aligned work. According to two people who have spoken to him, he's largely trying to amplify existing influencer networks. An early recipient of the money he raises will be a fund backing left-leaning creators on YouTube. Oh, I'm sure. Another will be a matchmaking service to book those creators on YouTube shows and podcasts. Did you get the email yet? They will never, ever contact me. Trust me. Project Bullhorn plans to include a for-profit arm that will have the potential to reap significant returns. Jesus Christ. We will need to create self-sustaining businesses if we want to build an echo chamber with sufficient scale and reach. You're calling it an echo chamber? Oh my God. Yeah, so that's another big thing, okay? A lot of the investment in building a ecosystem, a conservative ecosystem on social media was made by people who wanted Trump to win. Dem consultants and donors are by and large just like liberal business people who want to maximize returns on their investments. So they will never treat this as an actual like ideological project. For them, it's just about return on investment, After all, like fascists, if nothing else, they're passionate. But liberals, well, one of the top aides on former Vice President Kamala Harris's 2024 campaign, Rob Flaherty, and a digital media executive, Mike Vinisi, have been in conversations with donors in recent weeks ahead of what is expected to be a multi-million-dollar fundraising round for a new for-profit company called Channel Zero. The group is meant to provide back-office services to content creators who already have large followings. What profit could you possibly extract from providing these services to large content creators? What are you trying to do? Dude, they're gonna end up doing like machinima shit. That's their solution. They're gonna be like, how do we invest in left media? Well, let's like charge people a monthly rate to handle their video production and legal services. What? Guys, we keep losing because people view us as bureaucrats who only care about money. So maybe we should spend more money next time, then we'll win. Seriously, like this is like, oh my God, man. Just siphoning money into consultants, same as it ever was. It would be easier to make Trump a leftist than rebuild the Dem Party. Unironically. Future Forward, I know them. Mr. Flaherty, the former Harris strategist who had been at some donor events, said emulating the right success would take time. Quote, The key is building off what's already resonating and investing in it, he said. If it all goes into more tools for delivering poll-tested messaging, it'll fall flat with its audience. At that point, you might as well just buy ads. Then what are you doing? It is insane that they are viewing an attempt to win back influence over social media as a for-profit venture when they're already getting like donor capital involved. Like, it's not even about building a political project. It's literally like, well, no. We're willing to spread leftist messaging for a price. Well, then you're not a donor then, are you? You're just a mercenary. I want to see more talk on this. 6 months later, Democrats are still searching for a path forward. The party's standing is startlingly low after a defeat that felt like a cultural rejection. What comes next? Oh, yeah. Oh, here's the bit I was referring to earlier. After around 250 focus groups of swing voters, a few patterns have emerged, said the researcher, Anat Shenkir-Osorio. Republicans are seen as apex predators like lions, tigers, and sharks, beasts that take what they want when they want it. Democrats are typically tagged as tortoises, slugs, or sloths, slow, plodding, and passive. A deer in the headlights. You stand there and you see the car coming, but you're going to stand there and get hit with it anyway. That's true. 27% approval in a recent NBC News poll, the weakest in all of history. For now, Democratic donors and strategists have been gathering at luxury hotels, I can't deal with this, man, to discuss how to win back working-class voters, commissioning new projects that can read like anthropological studies of people from faraway places. The prospectus for one new $20 million effort, obtained by the Times, aims to reverse the erosion of Democratic support among young men, especially online. It is codenamed SAM, short for Speaking with American Men, a Strategic Plan, and promises investment to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisements in video games, among other things. Man. I can't do this. They're trying to Brianna Joy Gray me, man. Are you ready for the Fortnite DNC? They're like, unironically, they're going to spend $100 million on like Kamala Harris hologram projected into the sky by drones over Twisted Towers or whatever. I don't know what the map looks like now. Giving a speech on how the night is darkest before the dawn. I can't do this shit, man. Are these articles talking about the DNC or private super PACs? I'm confused because they don't really say. They work together. They work, like, it's legally the PACs don't spend at the behest of the Democratic Party, but practically they do. It's one and the same. Trump's numbers seem to be getting worse and worse, and I'm pretty optimistic Democrats will have some real opportunities in 2026, said Zach McCrary, a Democratic pollster. But Mr. McCrary, who lives in an Alabama congressional district that is often ranked as the nation's most conservative, cautioned against taking the wrong lessons from any successes in 2026, because he said the party's brand is repellent in so much of the country. Dude, it's repellent to me, man. It's like, unironically, I am like incredibly suspect of people online who are pro-Democrat, not left-leaning. That's great. But if I see a person online and they're like pro-Biden, my thought is not like, oh, you're more liberal than me. My thought is, you're mentally ill and in a cult. It's pretty bad out there.
You know what the reflection is? And Bernie said it on Flagrant. Everybody's the blame. This ain't a Democrat thing. It's not a Republican thing. This is government has failed the people. We live in a capitalist society where you got all of these motherfuckers with all the wealth. Elon Musk has more wealth than more than half of the bottom of America. Like, come on. Like, there's no way we live in a society that claims to be the most wealthiest society on the planet and we can't fix homelessness.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more socialist. Which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what.
Why is the audio so bad?
That's what everybody's saying.
Because the Republican solution to what you just described is going to be
deregulate
capitalism, deregulation.
Well, it wasn't quite as pointed of a take as I was looking for, but yeah, functionally, like, this is, unfortunately, like, the problem the Democrats are facing right now, even if we ignore Gaza, is that there are no young liberals, or maybe there are like 5 of them. They're all globehead neoliberals on Twitter, and they're all very annoying, you know? To anyone under like 35, the general tone with regard to like the hope we should have in this country and its functioning, you're either MAGA or you're some variety of, at the very least, social democrat, you know? At the end of the day, the Democrats are a party that represents nobody, right? Republicans created a market and then filled it wonderfully, right? It's a hideous market and it's not doing good for anyone, but they did create it and they are filling it. Democrats, on the other hand, who do Democrats represent? If you're gay or trans, they sure as shit don't represent you. Kamala Harris very pointedly avoided talking about you during her run to not be, you know, divisive. If you're an immigrant, nope. Joe Biden was out there, you know, bragging about how he was cracking down on illegal immigration. His bill would have done it, you know, allocated more resources to building the wall. If you're poor, the Democrats aren't here for you. What the fuck are the Democrats doing to address economic inequality? Be serious. Republicans are making it worse. Yeah. But Democrats aren't really doing much to fix it. Like, the Democrats just don't represent any ideological interest. There's no point you can have where you would wake up and like enthusiastically vote for the Democrats. And they still blame the loss on LGBTQ people. They still are, dude. There are Democratic consultants right now who are going around arguing that we need to face the facts and move to the right on some social issues because people have moved to the right, particularly with transgender people in sports, but also broadly on their acceptance in society. They don't think you can change people's minds on anything. So when they see the polling shift to the right in those issues, they're like, well, got to follow the polling. Doomerism isn't helping. We need to shift to a different path, bud. I'm not being doomer. This is an accurate reflection of the problem the Democrats are having right now. I'm not being doomer about it. Also, I'm not your bud. What's the thing Paulie does? He does this, right? He does this. I'm not your bud. Now, how does he talk? Also, I'm not your bud. No, he doesn't talk like that at all. No, that's not right. He does do this, though. Hey, Tone. No, I'd have to watch it again. Yeah, he's more relaxed than that. He doesn't, you know. A very liberal reaction Vaush has been getting while reporting factual news. You need to give people hope. Well, I mean, I think there's some hope to be... I do think that even in largely conservative dipshit circles like this podcast or bits that I've seen of this podcast, the anti-capitalist messaging is still like pretty pervasive. A lot of Trump supporters are anti-capitalist fundamentally, even if they don't vote in a way that aligns with that, right? Like, no, wait, let me clarify what I just said, because I think I need to be more specific. A lot of conservatives in this country are very critical of the economic system that we live in and do believe that there is that the game is rigged against them. They do believe that corporations don't represent their best interests, right? I think there's a reason why overwhelmingly MAGA economic messaging is borderline statist, with Trump being the grand poobah that gets to decide tariffs, which companies do or don't get to do business. You know, they like the idea of him being disruptive to the economic order. Fascists are capitalist, but they don't usually trust capitalism as an end to itself. It's more of a means to an end, or that's what they tell themselves. Capitalists like fascism because it protects their interests, but fascists don't think of capital as the thing they're striving toward, even if the capitalists recognize a lot of this is being done to their benefit. Basically, what I'm saying is that corpo shills don't sound good on either side of the aisle right now, but Democrats are the only ones who sound like that. Good analysis? Really? I felt like that was word vomit. I guess we have been going on for a while. And a lot of the stream was taken up by me arguing with people in chat. That's fine. We won't do that tomorrow. Listen, it's a holiday. I'm just a birthday boy. Let me have a good time doing what I enjoy, which is yelling at chat.